the guy that gives nicknames, divisive nicknames or derogatory nicknames to his political opponents. Sleepy Joe Biden, crooked Hillary. What did he say about Ted Cruz's dad might have been the Zodiac? Like, he just says so many out of pocket things and then it's just
calling people Sleepy Joe or Little Marco is not in the same moral ballpark as calling people Nazis and depicting your opponent as New Republic in its last issue painted Donald Trump as Hitler.
Destiny was a guest on the David Pakman show to engage in a debate with far-right MAGA pundit Dennis Prager. And in this segment of the debate, they get into the idea of which side is more divisive. As you can imagine, this was pretty entertaining. Destiny is a great debater, and seeing him go up against Dennis Prager, there are a lot of great lines in here. We're going to take a look at these clips from the David Pakman show with this debate between Dennis Prager and Destiny. I'll share my thoughts from time to time as well. Let's get into this together.
The guy that gives nicknames, divisive nicknames or derogatory nicknames to his political opponents. Sleepy Joe Biden, crooked Hillary. What did he say about Ted Cruz's dad might have been the Zodiac? Like, he just says so many out of pocket things and then it's another world. I don't know if like conservatives listening actually believe this, but when people say things like, oh yeah, Joe Biden is so unbelievably divisive. Really? Joe Biden, the guy that gets on stage and that we've seen like has trouble stringing together sentences. This is the insanely divisive president of fiery rhetoric. When he gets on stage and he's like, MAGA Americans. And when I say MAGA, I don't mean everybody. I just mean the ones that deny the election, right? This is the guy that's insanely divisive. But when Trump says things like, well, there was the Second Amendment, they're coming for that and we can't do anything about it. Well, maybe the Second Amendment people, can, and everybody laughs. But when Joe Biden in a private meeting to donors says, we need to put a bullseye on Donald Trump, like that's violent rhetoric. Give me a break. That's just,
what about that, Dennis? Opinion. I mean, what you mentioned the reference to white nationalism or white supremacy in Joe Biden's inauguration speech, but what else has Joe Biden done in your view to incite violence?
Oh, I didn't say he incited violence. I thought the issue was divisiveness. Who is more responsible for divisive? Also, Donald Trump is one man. Calling people Sleepy Joe or Little Marco is not in the same moral ballpark as calling people Nazis and depicting your opponent as New Republic in its last issue painted Donald Trump as Hitler.
Now, this debate was from a couple of months ago. It's still relevant, very relevant to what's going on right now, but there have been some new things happen in the election and with Donald Trump. We have Donald Trump saying just insane things every single day that would have been the end of any other candidate that we've ever seen in the past, but here we are. David Pakman is talking about, Democrats calling Donald Trump Hitler or Republicans Nazis or whatever. We've had revelations come out from the military that Donald Trump said he wished he had generals like Hitler, that would have been obedient to him and overthrowing the Constitution rather than the generals representing the United States instead of just one man. We've had Donald Trump come out and say he would use the military on his own citizens if they disagree with him with the election. So it seems like the shoe fits here, Dennis Prager, in terms of some of these names that are and rhetoric that are being used against Trump and Republicans. And he says, well, Donald Trump is just one man. Yeah, Donald Trump is just one man who controls an entire political party. And you have all of the politicians and all of these MAGA supporters who are parroting the things that Donald Trump says, these vile, horrible things that he's saying. And all of the Republican politicians are trying to do this insult comic thing that Donald Trump does. Now, they don't do it as well as him, but they're all constantly throwing out insults. And it's not just insults. It's, this has been years and years of Democrats are the enemy and they're doing all these horrible things, just these vile, vile things, instead of what we had at one time where it's like, well, Democrats and Republicans, we have different views on how things should be run and taxation and all of these things, but we all agree that, we have to do X, Y, Z. We don't have that anymore. It's with Republicans. The Democrats are the enemies. They're all socialists and communists and Maoists and all of these things. So this is completely disingenuous on Dennis Prager's side on Dennis Prager's part to act like it's just Donald Trump and not an entire party. So, and Destiny is exactly correct with what he's saying, that, come on, Joe Biden is this divisive figure, the guy who's always talking about wanting to reach across the aisle with Republicans and, his good friend Mitch McConnell and all that, while Mitch McConnell is kicking him in the head.
The staggering amount of lies, it's the whole left world. Donald Trump is one man. The whole left is filled with hate. The lie that Donald Trump said that there were fine people who were Nazis in Charlottesville. Even Snopes, which is left of center, in its fact checking said it was false that he ever said that the Nazis in Charlottesville were fine people. He wasn't referring to them. The New York Times continues that lie to today. Joe Biden said that's the reason he ran for president, because of that horrific statement. The lying from the left and lying of smearing. This is not just Donald Trump. This is not just Joe Biden. The left smears. That's what they do. When I spoke at Arizona State University a year and a half ago, 34 professors of the 42 at the college that I spoke to at Arizona State said people should not attend because I am a bigot and a homophobe and an Islamophobe and a racist and a this. That's all they do. I invited all of them onto my radio show. Any one of you 34, all 34 can come on my radio show. Not one accepted the invitation. Did one invite me into their classroom? Of course not. So
this is one of one of Dennis Prager's go-to things. He says that progressives won't debate him, and some people say Destiny isn't a progressive. I don't know what label you ascribe to him, but Dennis Prager did a debate with Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian, and I've covered this on my channel. And he was saying, progressives, liberals, Democrats, the left, they won't debate me. And they're like, you're on our show right now debating us.
So constantly referring to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is nothing compared to the whole world, from the New York Times to Joe Biden. The world of the left is a world filled with smearing hate.
Stephen, let me give you the last word on this before we move on.
Yeah, I mean, if Biden was invited to speak about a particular BLM riot, and Biden would have ever uttered the words Antifa, stand back and stand by, like Donald Trump said for Proud Boys, stand back and stand by, I think that the conservative sphere of media would have erupted in anger. If you want to talk about like who's more divisive or not, you just need look no further than the legislation passed in Congress. President Trump ran for how long on repeal and replace the ACA? He wasn't able to replace it. He ran for how long on infrastructure? Biden was the one that passed that bill. Donald Trump didn't. And in terms of Donald Trump just being one man, Donald Trump is not just one man. Donald Trump is the entirety of the conservative party right now. And if you're a conservative politician or if you're in conservative media, you absolutely know that, because you either toe his line or you are destroyed.
I want
absolutely right from Destiny. They all have to kiss the ring of Donald Trump, toe his line, bow down to him, whatever term you want to use. But Destiny is correct. Donald Trump has taken over the entirety of the Republican Party, the Conservative Party, right wing, whatever you want to. What alternative conservative politician is there out there that has any chance really of getting anywhere? They all have to pledge allegiance to their God King, Donald Trump. It's going to be really interesting to see if Trump is, if Kamala Harris wins, if Donald Trump loses, what happens to the Republicans? Because you would have to think that Donald Trump is going to lose his grip over the Republican Party, but I don't know. Can he continue to be the puppet master to them if he loses again? Who knows? But it's just laughable. This is Dennis Prager's shtick, is that everybody on the left is evil and all they do is smear and have violent rhetoric, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this is Dennis Prager's whole shtick. So I feel like Destiny is absolutely correct with what he said. Joe Biden is this divisive figure, this guy that just has bent over backwards his entire career to work with Republicans. I don't buy it. But what do you think? Who do you, if you want to watch this entire debate, it's on David Pakman's channel. It's about 40 minutes long. This was just a small section of it. But who do you think won in this debate? Do you think Dennis Prager came out on top, or do you think Destiny won this on David Pakman's show? Let me know what you think in the comments about Destiny, Dennis Prager, David Pakman, anything that you want to comment on. I love to read your comments. Make sure to give me a like and subscribe. My channel is growing fast. It continues to grow. I want it to keep growing, and it's because of your likes and subscribes that the channel is growing so quickly. I've gotten some really great comments from people saying this is their favorite channel now, and I really appreciate that because the channel's only been around for a few months. But if you haven't subscribed, please do so I can bring out more content with debates like this between Destiny and Dennis Prager on David Pakman's show. This is Chris on Culture. I will see you in the next video.